Hello and welcome to this live stream. Hello everyone and welcome to the Gnostic Takeover. And we're just about to go live. I'm very happy to have everyone here. Let me just do a sound check. Hope this is working properly. And yeah, great to have everyone here. I've got everything set up. Yes. Very good. So let's head right into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream broadcast here at the Gnostic Takeover. It's great to have everyone who can tune in these times and who's free and available to listen to the stream of thought that I'll be going through. Unfortunately, I haven't got my headphones with me, so maybe the audio is a little bit inputted. And yeah, I'm going to be speaking about a very important topic to me, and today is going to be, so I've got a few slides prepared, and it will be an introduction to this topic because I wanted to speak about something that may be challenging, may be uncomfortable for people. However, when it's uncomfortable, we better speak about it. That's the motto of the Gnostic Takeover. So let me just pull this over here. This is the motto of the Gnostic Takeover. There's a quote from Carl Gustav Jung which says that what you need the most will be where you least want to look. And this is very powerful. And here, wanting to bring true Gnosticism back to the world, true shamanism, being the study of nature and seeing natural law as the science and the natural order. And what true shamanism and Gnosticism used to be now history, and continuing on this investigation, what is Gnosticism truly all about? There's other people talking about Gnosticism too. For example, John Lam Lash, who wrote the great book Not in His Image. However, there's more to it. There's much, much more to it. And to me, as I often have the slide also in my presentations, it's about simply the truth. Quite simple. And for the truth, we have to dive into the deep waters, and water being a symbol for emotions and for feelings. And in order to get to the top of Mount Everest, the highest point apparently here on Earth, to get to the top of Mount Everest, you better have a good condition going. You better have dived deep into the waters in order to be able to make that right up to the very peak. And this is what my version of Gnosticism that I put forward here is all about. I want to get up to the peak and further. When you're up on that peak, maybe things look all that different to what you thought it would be, and go beyond the ordinary limitations of ordinary lives, because quite frankly, we are all extraordinary individuals who are piercing through the veil of illusion and lies of the collective psychosis that we can see all around us in the world that we experience. And it's a big challenge. As I've said, I've had this intention for more than 2 years now. I'm taking back the planet. I'm going to take it back. That's the only thing that makes sense. So let's take the planet back. Let's not just take our country back. No, let's take the planet back. I want to get to know about all the cultures here on nature, the culture and the nature, and how we can combine those two again in a beautiful symbiosis where humanity learns from each other once again as a unified civilization, a worldwide unified civilization, and maybe move on from the state of consciousness that we've been in ever since we were born, with people being separated and everyone just taking care of their own business. No, we want to move on. We want to move on here. And it's about time we do. So, to be honest with you, sometimes when you don't hear from me for like a week or 10 days, there's a high probability that I'm going through my process and I'm doing my shadow work. So this has happened this week also. And I find it quite funny when my dad tells me, when I talk about shadow work with him, he always tells me, oh, I already did my shadow work when I was 30. He's 67 now. I already did my shadow work when I came over here to Austria, because he's an Englishman. My dad, he's an actual geezer from the city of London. And he moved over to Austria and he said, I had so many difficulties coming here and adapting to the culture. This is when I did my shadow work. I went out into the forest, I did my runs, and I met the angels in nature. That's the sort of stuff that he would be talking about. And that's when I did my shadow work. Well, there's always more to do in shadow work. That's been my experience after about 13 years on this journey now. 13 years wanting to discover the truth. What is the truth? How do we get out of this crisis mode? How can we live a life that's worth living? And I faced many challenges, especially one of the points along my life trajectory was to quit my studies, becoming a teacher, because I was studying at the University of Vienna, history and mathematics. And I saw that the world was going in a very, very dark place. So I dropped all of that. I dropped it all because I needed to focus. I needed to focus on the real work that we need to do here on Earth. And that was one of the turning points in my life. And that was at the end of 2017. And now we've got 2022, and I have no idea how I even ended up here. So there you've got an example of someone like me, apparently according to the parameters of this system that is informed by the spirit of evil, Wetiko, the Wetiko virus, as the Native Americans called it. I like to call it the Archon Vampire Empire. According to the Archon Vampire Empire, I'm a nobody. I'm nothing. Because I'm not in their newspapers. I'm not in their media. I'm nowhere. However, I can sit right here and speak with you about existential fears. And that is a psychological disease of the mind. And I'm still in recovery. That's why I'm talking about this today. And you see, it's been quite the journey. Like in 2017, I dropped my studies and I went into trust mode. I said, there has to be something more to life than this. Can't be all. So I went on a speaking tour all across Austria talking about the 5G digitalization technological implementation of the smart grid. And I taught the whole of Austria, not being an expert. Again, from the Archon Vampire Empire perspective, a nobody. Oh, he can't be a threat to us. But those sort of mavericks, like me, are the biggest threat to the system. And I was doing my presentations all across Austria in 2019, heading into 2020. I also did a few then, and then the curtain came down, and I had to stop what I was doing because of the Covidian cult's muzzle imposition and psychological warfare techniques that they already practiced with MK Ultra in the 1940s and 50s, going on to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and now they thought we bring it to the world stage. MK Ultra going global, and they called it COVID-19. The corona. What is that all about? There's a much deeper story to what we've been told, which is something that I'm preparing for the magnum opus, going deep into putting it into the right context. The story of what we're going through here on Earth right now. There is so much more to know about all of this. And I'll be going into that. However, before the magnum opus, I've got this topic that I need to speak about and that I want to speak about. And that is, as you can see in the title, natural medicine healing scarcity-based mind control. And that's the real problem that we have in the world. That's the mind virus, is scarcity-based mind control. And I would just want to share a little bit about my journey because I'll be heading into the slides now. One of the things, I chose to live my life with purpose. That was a choice that I made. I made the choice that I am dedicating my life to the earth, to the plant kingdom, to the animal kingdom, to mankind, and to give it my absolute best shot, my absolute dedication to change and transform the trajectory that our species has been on, and to tune in to what is often termed the Great Awakening. Tune into it and really find out what it's all about. And I made that choice, and it has been possible for me to create a life where I can do this. A life in freedom, in true freedom, living in truth, which to me means to wake up every day and rediscover deeper levels of the truth and not believing that we know the truth and we're waiting for the others to wake up. No, that's nothing to do with the world I'm talking about here. I'm talking about my experience, which is every day when I wake up, I discover deeper levels of the truth, and that's where it becomes a journey, a wonderful truth discovery journey. And when you live in truth, you experience more and more freedom in your life. That's very important to me in my life. However, that freedom also comes with a price. And this is something that I have had to look at these last few days. It's been lingering the last few weeks, the last few months. It's been here most of my life. And that is, and I'll be heading into the slides now, that is existential fears. This is what I would like to talk about today. As I said, I like to talk about the real issues here and not blow smoke up on everyone with fake spirituality. I'm not into that. I want to speak about the real issues. And I told Liz yesterday, as we were doing our daily walks in nature, I told her that we are having to face existential fears right now because I'm getting the feeling that this is the main topic. This is one of the key topics to speak about right now in this time. So I get the impression, it is my feeling, that this is a topic that concerns everyone listening here to an extent. Because what does the future hold for us? What's it going to be? How is it going to continue? Because it can't continue the way it has been over the past 2 years of imposition. Something needs to give. And it's a major topic. It's huge. And with me, today we've got the 20th of August, and right now I'm in a situation where I can't even pay my rent that I need to pay every month. And I don't want to have anyone feel sorry for me here, okay? Because I'm going the path of the plant medicine. This is what I'm walking. I'm walking the talk. I'm walking the path. And it is at times, although you're on the path to freedom, you're on the path of truth discovery, it can be very, very difficult and very challenging. You'll be challenged to the max, and you'll have to find a way to deal with it, which is why I share my experience with you. You don't have to feel sorry for me because of my existential fears, and you don't. And there is also there's it's all just about talking about this topic: existential fears and trauma-based mind control. And you see, me being on the path of the plant medicine and working with plant medicine, which is why I talk a lot about natural intelligence. I talk about the original natural organic reality that we are creating. And the thing with plant medicine is that it doesn't give you what you want, but it gives you what you need. And to me, it seems like that right now, the plant medicine thought trauma. Excuse me just for a second. It was the right time to face what is a big traumatization. It's a big trauma. And I grew up with it. I was culturated into this program which runs on existential fears. And let no one kid you that this is not one of the major themes in our world. Most people, because of existential fears, have actually taken the gene therapy. Not because they wanted it, but because of this very hidden topic of existential fears. What would I do if I lose my job? You see, and that's a big price that people pay if you do not heal what needs healing. And existential fears have a lot to do with fear itself. And as I said, no one has to feel sorry for me. You can feel empathy for me. Maybe you yourself have experienced existential fears come up for you. Maybe you've been in phases of your life where you didn't know how it was going to continue. However, I like to see, according to the plant medicine, which connects you to the force of nature with true power, it connects you. I like to see everything in an empowered way. And when there is fear, it's important to face that fear and go through it, transcend that fear, and not let it stop you. So for me, I'm on the 20th of August. I do not know how I'm going to pay my rent in September. However, all that I can do in this situation, and if there's a worst case scenario, I probably get support from my parents and that they can lend me the money for now. However, it's just important for me to share this with everyone, that freedom ain't always freedom ain't always an easy ride. Oh, you see, he's free. Oh, he's always got it. He's got a great life. He must have. And well, I can share with you that I do worry about my very existence at times, and this is the reason why I use active imagination and confront that fear, which is what I want to put to everyone here. Confront the fear, not let it stop you, and use your active imagination of how to deal with the emotions that come up when we have fears for our very existence, like I have in the moment where I don't even know how I'm going to pay the next rent. So I say thank you to the plant medicine. The medicine doesn't give you what you want, but what you need. And this is what I needed to get rid of that fear. And I know that it's a massive topic with the attack that we've experienced since the beginning of 2020. The COVIDian cult has orchestrated, everything else is a cover up. This is one of the key aspects when it comes to this topic. They have orchestrated the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. That's what really lies at the heart of what has happened. And there's so many angles to this, which is the reason why I'm doing a magnum opus about putting the narrative into the right context, into an empowered context, because this is not about being a victim of the death cult, the COVIDian cult. It's not about being a victim, but transcending out of that victimhood and becoming sovereign. I'll be talking about all of this in the magnum opus. However, existential fears, as I've already said, has been one of the main reasons why people subject themselves to the sting that changes your life. It's an incredible decision to make, and according to many people, they have made that decision. And many people that I've talked with, they only did it because of their job. They did it because of their environment, because the environment was pushing them into that direction. And many of them did it because of the existential fears. Because many people in the world right now, they identify themselves with their job, and they think they lose their identity when they lose their job. And it's catastrophe. It's a very, very difficult situation to face, and it's a very difficult situation. This is the information that I'm getting in the moment for many people in the world of how to move forward. What is the future going to be, and how can we find a perception, a perspective that is empowering, that can move us into the future, into an empowered state. And that's why I'm here talking about this subject. Has been the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind, and they topped their last plunder and the transfer of wealth that was in 2008. That was topped by what happened since 2020, stealing monetary, stealing money from the general public, to keep it simple. All right, and there's a key thing that I'll be talking about also in the next video, which is changing our perception when it comes to value, and realizing that this Covidian cult has transformed most people's perception into perceiving money as the only value, and that needs to change. So I know many people are experiencing hardship. It's not easy for many people in this moment right now, which is why I absolutely respect everyone who is not in a position to donate to the Gnostic takeover. I myself would also be in a situation where I couldn't donate in this moment, so there's full understanding. It will always be in my interest to give the information for free that I have here, and yeah, stay in trust that the Gnostic takeover can continue, and that it hits on the important subjects that need to be talked about. So, coming back to one of the main themes that I always keep talking about here, which is the mind virus. And a key part of this mind virus, which is a spell on the mind. That's why in this video I call it, that's why I called this video Natural Medicine Healing Scarcity-based Mind Control, is because everything has its origin. When we experience it in our reality, it has its origin in the mind. And that's why plant medicine is dedicated to remove this mind virus, because then it would remove the spell that is on our mind. And if the biggest transfer of wealth happened with the Covidian cult's fascist imposition since 2020, then the spell they put humanity under ever since the beginning of 2020 is also one of the major themes to talk about. And this mind virus, the virus on our mind, or what Carlos Castaneda called the foreign installation, this mind virus has everything to do with existential fears, because it is actually the mind virus who creates the existential fears, because this mind virus could be discovered in any moment now. It's the constant chatter in our minds. It's the constant theme of always putting us down and putting us into a lower position and making us feel guilty about who we are and feeling guilty for what we do in order to get fed from our existential fears, and it's a spell. And true awakening is ending the spell and healing the mind virus so we can, once again, we ourselves can become the natural authority of our own mind. Because if we are not the natural authority of our mind, and we take full control back of our mind into our control, then someone else will use our mind. And this is one of the most important topics that we need to speak about, and that I'll be going deeper into in the coming video. As I said, this is an introduction into healing existential fears and fear in general, which all fears come from existential fears. And I say that these existential fears, they come from the mind virus. And this, you see, everything, when you go deep into the study of the truth, when you really want to find out, which is what I'm putting forward here, this is the only thing that I wanted to find out, is okay, when the world is in such a mess, when it is in such a state where people can't get on with each other, that it's impossible for people to have a conversation and have opposing views, and they can't respect each other, even when there's infinite amount of perceptions that we can have. When the world is in such a state where it's normal to have wars waging in foreign countries we've never been to, there's something very, very wrong. And when you go deep into the study of what has happened here in our world and how we can fix it, eventually you will come to realize the very importance of perception, how we perceive reality. And it's all, if we want to have a new life, we only get a new life when we transform our old life. It's all a process of transformation, which is what true awakening is all about. It's a transformation of perception. And when it comes to this mind virus, the spell that humanity has been put under, this mind virus manifests itself as a perception deception. And this is how they want humanity to perceive the world. Right here. This could be from a perspective from an ant that found its way into the city. And that's where they want humanity in. Oh, they're all so powerful. Look at their big buildings of these multinational corporations, of these mega banks, of the corporates, and the judicial system with the courts and the judges that work in there. Oh, and it's all so frightening and it's all so imposing. Oh, we better not make a fuss there. Oh, we better just do what we're told, and then we'll be fine. That's the perception that the Archon mind virus puts us in. The all so powerful dark occult priest class, or what is often termed as the elite. The elite of what? Of bullshitting? Of lying? Yeah, then that's the elite, exactly. They are the elite of bullshitting and lying, the elite of bullshitters. That's what they are. or as I like to term them, the kakistocracy, the shit people who want to take over everyone's life because apparently they've got their life fully in order, so they want to control everyone else's life. Oh, they're all so powerful. This is the mind virus at work, this perception. Oh, and who am I? Who am I to change anything? I can't change anything. Oh, that's impossible. Oh, that cannot work. Well, in this state of perception, yeah, I'm totally with you. You can't change anything. And it's just a matter of time until that foot stamps on your face. However, is this the only perception that's possible in the world? Oh, I'll be going much deeper into that in the coming videos. No, this is the perception they want you in. This is how they want you to view the world. Okay? When a policeman pulls you over in your car, they want you to see him like this. Or it doesn't matter what situation, when you are in court, you have to see the judge like that. Or when you are at university and you're a student at university, you have to look at your teacher like that. Oh, it's also imposing, they're all better than me. And this perception creates the hierarchical class structure. That's completely illusory. It's a complete illusion when you know about the nature of sovereignty and about the potential that we have as mankind if we were to not subordinate ourselves to anyone, because we would be degrading ourselves when we are infinite potential, waiting to be manifested. That's the mind virus. It wants you to perceive the world as being scary. Oh, they're all powerful. But that's only one state of perception. They've programmed the whole world with this mind spell. It's a spell. It's a spell on our minds. And it makes us perceive the world as all imposing. That's why, we need to subordinate ourselves. However, this is the virus that needs healing. And what it needs is a transformation of perception. This is where everything changes. You don't just change a little bit. In Gnosticism, when it comes to knowing, Gnosticism is all about the truth. It is all about knowing. The only thing that you fear is that which you do not know. So it's all about knowing, and true knowing comes with experience. To actually experience life and gaining the wisdom that it teaches. A transformation of perception is needed. And that's why the plant medicine doesn't give you what you want, but what you need in order to experience it. To experience existential fears, like I'm experiencing right now. As I said, I don't know how I'm going to pay my next rent. I have no idea. I have to let go and trust and experience those existential fears and feel them and do something proactive with them, like doing this video and talking what no one else likes talking about. Oh, I'm a loser because I'm in existential fears. No, I'm experiencing it. To speak about it and then let it go, which transforms my perception. Nobody has to feel sorry for me. No one has to feel guilty if they don't have any donations that they can make to the Gnostic takeover. No! I do this because I walk the talk, and what I perceive as the path, I also walk that path. This is the transformation of perception. This is how natural intelligence sees things. That you experience those things like existential fear in order to extract the essence from it and know why you're facing this situation. And by sharing it, you release it, see it in an empowered way, and transform your perception. The transformation of perception changes everything. And you transform it into the eagle thunderbird vision. So now you are flying high. And you can only fly as high in correspondence to how deep you've dived into the waters of truth. You cannot reach Mount Everest and the peak of it like taking the planet back from dark occultists. You cannot reach the peak of Mount Everest and beyond that even if you do not first dive down into the deep waters of the sea. Deep down and anchor in there, which is all what I'm talking about, is an interior process. Transforming those emotions, transforming those existential fears and realizing that is the mind virus. The transformation of perception. Now you're flying high. Before, they were all powerful. That is the choice that we make. This is what I'll be talking about even more. I'll be talking about this even more in the coming videos. What true transformation of perception really looks like. This right here, that's a spell. That's the mind virus. That's the spell. And you maneuver out of that perception that they're all powerful by doing the shadow work. Facing the fears instead of running away from them. Facing the fears and not let it stop you. We have a plan. I don't have to believe the plan. Oh, believe the plan. QAnon, the Trump train. I have a plan. Do we have a plan? That's the question. And this is a whole different perception where everything looks different. And you see the difference between those two perceptions are different stories. As I had in the previous video already, is mankind is a storytelling species. We tell each other stories. And this is the stories that we tell ourselves is what makes the transformation of perception possible. It's the stories that we tell ourselves every day. The same recurring thoughts that happen every day are the stories that keep us lock, stock, and barrel subordinated in this control system. But that's only the position that they want us in. This is how we stay their prey for them as parasites. The way we transform our perception is by transforming and changing the story that we tell ourselves. That's what we need to focus on. That's what changes perception. To give you an example, Oh, they're all powerful. Oh, there's nothing I can do. Look how strong they are. Look how big they are. Look how imposing they are. There's nothing I can do. Who are they? I don't even see them. Who are you talking about? Well, it's them. It's them up there. The dark occult. Oh, they're running the banking system and they control everything. And they're gonna crash the financial system and then impose the social crediting system like in China. It's going to be worldwide communism. Oh my god, they're so big. No one flies higher than me. What banking crash are you talking about when it's all illusory monetary systems? What's real value? What's real value all about? Ask yourself the key questions again. Change your foundation, which is all what natural intelligence is all about. This is why it is so painful at times, and this is why I share this with everyone here, to be able to fly as high as the eagle. That's why I share the eagle thunderbird vision here with you. To fly as high as the eagle, you need to face those fears, those existential fears. Because the plant medicine doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you need, and you face those existential fears because they are from your past. They come from our past. And it's all about, as I said, it's changing the story. Changing the story that we tell ourselves every day. 97%, according to what I've read, 97% of the thoughts we're thinking today are the same thoughts that we thought the day before. Yeah, it's the same story. And what I can put forward to people is, because me and Liz are having to face those existential fears right now, it has made us up our discipline even more. And every day now when we wake up, we take an ice cold shower, we do our commands, our high commands under the ice cold shower. And after that, instead of drinking coffee, we stop drinking coffee now. This is something that I've done this week now. I feel pretty good about it. We sit down after the ice cold shower. We sit down and we do a guided meditation. One that I will also share here on the channel. Because I realized something that I never knew is that I'm pretty good at guiding meditations, which is quite interesting. And I want to share one at least also here on the channel with everyone here. A guided meditation that is all based and focused on synchronizing the heart with the mind. And this is what these existential fears that have come up the last few days have made us up our discipline and do a guided meditation and change our perception and let the transformation of perception happen by going inside our being. Not so much in the outside, but transforming from the inside out. This is the natural way. The natural way is transformation from the inside out. And in this guided meditation, I change the story. We cut the ties to the past, everything that doesn't serve us anymore. And we cut the emotional ties with the past, the attachment to the past. We cut through with the sword of truth during that guided meditation. And We'll see how that turns out. Changing the story and the story that we tell ourselves. And we do this meditation every day. When we wake up, we take the time and it programs our subconscious, which then goes into the conscious mind and changes the entire fabric of reality. Because there's more to us. And I just want to share with everyone here this video that I was given to by Sandra from our initiation group. This is the source of a river, and there's an omnipotent force that you can trust, and it's that same force, the source of all life force, that I trust, that I'll come through this, and that there will be wonderful beings listening to this here who can help the Gnostic takeover with a donation, who see the value of this information. And I can only say that I'm so grateful and thankful to everyone who has supported the Gnostic takeover with a donation, because otherwise I wouldn't be here giving this message to you. You see, I want to move on. I want to move forward. I want to have a new microphone that I'm already visualizing it to have a proper microphone and a proper camera also to up the quality here at the Gnostic takeover. It's time. I feel it's time. And although that may not be possible in this moment right now, I know that there is an omnipotent force that you can trust. And makes me very emotional. Also, it's the saying that the night is darkest at dawn, just before the sun rises. And I know that the sun rises, and it's been very challenging the last few days and weeks, and I'm basically giving all my time to work on the case with Leonie, Liz's child, and to get her child back, and having a mother reunite with her child and learning everything that we're learning. I'm seeing all of this in an empowered way. As I said, life is all about making the experience and learning from those experiences, learning how to deal with fear, learning how to deal with the deepest fears of all, which is existential fears, facing those fears and not let them stop you. Use active imagination and make it worthwhile. Say, I'm not succumbing to that spell anymore. I'm not succumbing and subordinating myself to this Archon mind virus, because I'm here to fly. And everyone listening here, I am here to fly. You are here to fly if this resonates with you. However, it's a deep journey. The plant medicine, what I talk about, natural intelligence, it doesn't give you what you want, but what you need. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be able to face this fear that I was programmed with when I was a little boy, when I didn't know better. And I received that scarcity-based mind control from my parents, who received it from their parents, and those parents' parents received it from their parents' parents' parents. I'm here to break the circuit. I'm here to break this cycle of enslavement to scarcity that doesn't exist. This is why me and Liz have been in the forest the last few days picking blackberries. And I'm going to be sharing more with you in the coming video about this. So I want to wish everyone a wonderful weekend. Have a lovely time. And we couldn't be more grateful to have you here on the channel. Thank you to everyone who has supported us, who has donated to us. And thank you for everyone who sees the value of the information shared here. There's a lot more coming your way no matter what. And thank you for everyone for just being here on this planet in these times and being the transformative element that makes all the difference in this world. Thank you to everyone listening here, and I'll see you next time. Take very good care. Bye bye.